Well, hello again, everybody. I'm Ron Fudge with this month's QTV News Brief, and our big story this month, another star-studded Hollywood North night here in San Francisco as the 19th annual GLAAD Media Awards makes a stop here in the city by the Bay. We were on the red carpet with all of the celebrities here to celebrate GLAAD, to honor some big Hollywood names, and to help keep the Watchdog Media's mission on track.
Our visibility really has increased tremendously. And so that's something that we're celebrating tonight. And while we celebrate that, we recognize that we have to balance that frustration because we haven't arrived yet. So we celebrate, but we know we have not arrived. And so
there's still some hurdles
Well, listen, we still know there's discrimination, there's defamation in this country, the number of hate crimes that are taking place against LGBT people, the defamation that still exists, and that defamation almost always precedes actual violence, threats. So we know we still have work to do, even though we celebrate the fact that there have been some really outstanding portrayals of our community in the media.
Well, I'm really honored to be here, and I'm happy to be here on a night where we're celebrating, positive images in the media. And I'm really encouraged by the movement towards the positive. I definitely grew up in a time when the images that we saw in film and TV of gays and lesbians, bisexuals and transgenders were not as positive. So I'm happy to be here on a night when we're celebrating positive images.
Wow. It's amazing. 2 years ago in New York City, I was the trophy girl. And now they've asked me to host. It's such an honor. And GLAAD is so important in what they do and the work that they do. And I know firsthand that, the power of people can really help our community, and money. So give money to GLAAD. But yeah, it's amazing.
Well, and also the power of visibility. Your visibility on the show and the role that you play has been a breakthrough.
Yeah, it's been incredible. Especially that they took a chance on a transgendered actress to play this part, knowing that it was going to be on a network show, which is huge, and just having me on that show opens up people's eyes in so many ways, in a positive way, and not a Jerry Springer way. You know what I mean? And I think that's so important.
I wish I was capable of making a forecast. After Brokeback Mountain, everybody said, "Oh my God, the floodgates of Hollywood are open. Here come all the gay, lesbian, bi, transgender movies." 3 years later, where are they?
Not there.
Right. So I think there's obviously there's hope, but there's a lot of work to do. I'm happy to say, coming soon, Gus Van Sant's Milk. I'm very proud to be associated with that one, and I think I hope it's going to have an impact.
I'm excited because they're showing this PSA that I made about not using the F word anymore. And I think it's a really important thing that we should try not to, if we don't want people to use that word, we shouldn't use it ourselves, even in jest.
I can relate to that, the use of certain words.
I say that in my speech, and it's like how the black community has kind of galvanized itself around not using the N word. It's the same thing, and we need to, it's a horrible word, and it's like, sometimes it's the last word people hear before they die, and I think I met a mother who, at the last GLAAD Awards I was at in New York, who told me that, and I just thought, wow, the fact that you hear people using it and as a joke, it's not funny.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be here. The Advocate, I was really the first in this whole arena of dialogue, and sometimes I think about the few gay men who started this one publication. It was on a mimeograph in a basement, in secret. And I think, what would they think if they could see all this? And it hasn't been really very long. It's been 41 years, but that's not really very long.
When I grew up, there wasn't a magazine cover, there wasn't a movie, there wasn't a TV special. I thought I was the only one in the world. And to walk into a room like this is just an extraordinary validation.
This is pretty phenomenal, don't you think?
Oh my God, yes. My God, yes. It's a change like I never thought I'd see in my lifetime.
There's been a lot of talk about progress and the power of visibility of gays in media. What's your take on this from then until now?
Well, it's night and day. We've gone from the dark ages to the age of light and reason. So it's a very different world now from what it was 15, 20 years ago. when we were starting out.
Anything in particular you'd like to see more of, or something that could happen? A prediction, a forecast of any kind from you?
More naked men on television, I think would be.
At least you're keeping it real. I like that. What do you think will be your personal contribution in terms of this big effort that GLAAD is doing?
Well, I'm presenting one of the awards tonight, and I think my personal contribution is just to show up and help bring you guys here and ask questions, and hopefully you'll get that out into the press and the media, and people will read it, and it'll continue to educate people that we're all just people, man. We all just want love and safety and food and nourishment, and what's so hard about understanding that?
One love. I like
that. Yeah, that's a good call.
Visibility, the power of visibility. Do you think that your visibility, our visibility, everyone's visibility when it comes to the media, how powerful do you think that is?
I think it's incredibly powerful because I think anytime you get a geographical separation or an economical or sociological separation, it gives people a chance to celebrate their ignorance. And the only way to do that is to break down those barriers and let people see what's going on. Now, one of the most powerful things I ever saw was they interviewed a group of children during the Iraq War. And they got a video satellite from American kids and Iraqi kids and brought them together. And you watched, after a few minutes, that these indoctrinations that these kids had about the evil of each other just fell off. They were just kids.
Oh, I'm hoping that it's going to be strides where it is now. I mean, right now GLAAD's doing such a great job in keeping a fair and accurate representation of the gay community. But I feel in 5 years it's going to just be so much more, and it's really exciting. America is really embracing the gay community finally, and it's going to be even more exciting in 5 years.
Okay, here's a quiz for you.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to be tolerated or accepted?
You know what? Little story. When I first came out to my parents, because they're very religious people, all I asked them to do was tolerate my lifestyle, and that was fine. But when I fell in love with my current boyfriend, I said no. I want to be accepted, and you have to accept me, or I don't need to be in your life anymore. And that's how I feel about America. Toleration is fine, but eventually they're going to have to accept us, and we'll accept nothing less.
The importance of the night for you?
Really being here for my friend. David is family for me. I mean, we travel together. We've been friends for seems like forever, and so I just feel that the importance of his acknowledgement tonight is really kind of the pinnacle of the evening for me, in that I get to be the person who gives him this award and acknowledges him for all the work that he's done. It's a really big deal.
How do you gauge the progress of particularly African Americans and our representation in mainstream media as gay people over the years? Is it good, bad, or average, or how do you rate it?
I think it's been almost kind of non-existent to an extent. I mean, every now and then you'd see a portrayal of someone of color. Then it'd be like Tu Wong Fu, Wesley Snipes, but it wasn't. It was always kind of supporting character, comic relief. We never really delved into the lives of men of color who were gay or women of color who were lesbian. And I think over the past few years, you've definitely seen more projects that are tackling the lifestyle from so many different perspectives. And it's still pretty fresh, but we're hoping that it's.
Is there still a long ways to go?
Yes. I mean, it's not, well, it's
happening pretty rapidly.
It's happening fast. The upsurge with our project and projects like Noah's Ark and Maurice Jamal with Dirty Life for NAACP no less. That's amazing to me. So that's significant. So I think with this new surge of projects like this, it's happening faster. We still have a long way to go, but it might be a short time.
Obviously, the media is getting more extended in different formats, whether it's podcasts or online. It's just becoming more and more a part of our every second existence, and I think it's important that we keep positive images of our community out there.
Did you think 5-10 years ago we would be where we are today with all of these images in mainstream media?
I don't think that I could forecast the technology, and I think that's the thing for me of my generation. I'm trying to stay up with it. Like, I got to get my old ass on Facebook. It's just a funny thing, but if I'm going to run for mayor, I got to get my butt on, get off Big Muscle Bear and get on a Facebook, okay? No, I'm not on there, dear, okay? I'm sorry.
But I'm so happy to be in San Francisco to support GLAAD. I've been at the Los Angeles Awards for several years. I've been a long-time supporter. I think the work that they do is very important and maybe more relevant now than it ever has been. And tonight especially, I'm here to honor my good friend David Mixner, who's helped me tremendously over my own coming out, and just as a friend, mentor, inspiration. And the fact that he's receiving an award tonight was all the encouragement I needed to get my butt up here.
There you go. Now you're here, you're visible, which is something I wanted to ask you about, the power of visibility for people like yourself and so many other celebrities who have come out and made themselves visible. What do you feel about that?
Well, the more people who show up as who they are in life, the power gets taken away from the people who want to hold that over us. And so I think that there's I've learned just from my own experience the freedom that comes with authenticity. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. I freaked out when it happened and worried about it before it happened for years. But when it finally did happen, I realized, I looked back and there was this wall that I had built in my mind that did not exist. And it sort of just disengaged all that stress,
energy,
and that bad energy. So I think the more people who are gay or lesbian or transgender, they come out as who they are. Not only do they win themselves personally, but as a community we win too.
Right. I was at the GLAAD Awards in LA, and we were nominated. Dirty Sexy Money, the storyline obviously that between Candace and I, and she's here hosting tonight, and I'm the auctioneer. And I love San Francisco, and any way we could raise some funds and tolerance and awareness about an important cause. The mission for GLAAD is I'm glad to be involved. And I'm glad that my role in Dirty Sexy Money has lent itself to that as well.
Were you ever fearful at any point when this role came along of how it would be?
I was kind of excited and kind of got off on the exhilaration and the sort of the danger of it in a way. I was wondering how people were going to react. I didn't really think it was going to be that big a deal. I hope there wouldn't be sort of any negative. But I haven't encountered. I'm sure that one day I'm going to run into some person who can't handle. I mean, I've actually had a couple of friends call me and say, my friends who still live in like small town America, I suppose, and they're like, how do you do that? What's going on? And these people can't tell the difference between a transvestite and a transsexual anyway. So
that's okay. You're trailblazing, so it's all right.
Yeah, we live in an entirely different media era now. I mean, if this was 20 years ago, I guess it might have been more provocative and more controversial. But I think America certainly is ready for this. Look out, because we have got a lot more good stuff coming in season 2.
And you'll always get enough when it comes to appreciation.